Welcome back to the Football Exponential podcast. I'm Chika and I'm joined by Frank.
Hi, Chica. Hi, listeners. Welcome back to our beautiful show. It's good to have you joining us on today's episode.
So Frank, it's been a very sent me something. That was this for the first time since I think 1994. I was shocked. He sent it to me
Yeah,
where he
yeah.
said this is the first time that Chelsea, Manchester United, then Liverpool all drop points in the same week. This is the first time since
The same.
1994.
They all lost on the same day.
They all lost on the same day. Okay, don't drop. They all lost on the same day. Yeah. And
1994.
Arsenal would have joined the next day, but they vetted it. It's been a very, very surprising weekend. And did you notice that so many times also when there are no many goals called, so many big teams lose? Like if you notice this weekend, apart from Manchester City that had to score 5 goals, it was like 3-2 from the big sides. Okay, today mostly if you are watching us and you are enjoying what we are doing, please smash the like button, drop your comments, your questions, whatever you want us to discuss or cover, I'll be right there with you. Let's quickly round up. Arsenal came from behind to defeat Newcastle United 2-1. Valtameda scored the first one, and then I think it was Merino and then Gabriel
Marino and Gabriel.
Gabriel that's called. But today we'll be discussing mostly about Chelsea and Manchester United. Frank, who do we start with? Chelsea. Let's start with Chelsea.
Let's no. Let's start. I think this episode we're going to title it Chelsea crisis meeting. So let's start with United. Let's get United out of the way. Then we'll go into the steak and potatoes that is Chelsea's situation.
Okay, United. For the first time, I started seeing some. Well, I say rumors. It's been unverified. Whenever I start seeing clubs giving vote of confidence on a coach,
Yeah.
they're gonna sack him in 2 weeks. Whenever I start seeing rumors that they want to wait till the international break before they will sack that's Ruben Amorim, and then I saw something also about how it was the worst points tally since the Second World War. That made me laugh. Second World
No,
War.
but also saw something that since April this year, United have 12 points in the Premier League, and Sunderland so far this season have 11. So that just puts in bigger picture what the situation is at United. But again, like with United, it's not good. It's not. There's nothing new there. We've seen it before. We've seen the performances. We've seen how they've not been able to create chances, control games. They concede. I think the goals Chelsea have considered in the last few weeks has been terrible, but the goals United considered is another level. The first goal they considered on the weekend, the Thiago goal. That's a fantastic finish. I think that's a striker you've been raving about. You've been telling me about him coming soon. That was a beautiful finish. But the defending from Harry Maguire on the halfway line, I
Yeah.
thought Tosin was bad a couple of weeks ago at that same stadium against that same team. But Maguire took it to another level. That's defending. And again, because before the season started, we talked about players that we are excited to watch and players that we think might not have the best of seasons as their new teams. And one of them was for me Cunha. I think I felt these new attackers they've signed, Sesko, Bremo, and Cunha. They might one or two of them might struggle in that team. Not because they're bad players. It's just because they stink at United. We just get on them. And Cunha, I don't think he has scored for United so far this season.
No, I
I
don't
don't
think
think he
so.
has. I don't think he has. And even like you see the way he's playing, he's not. He doesn't carry that same creative.
But he plays alone
Responsibility.
so much at United. There's a chance he could have squared to Fernandez. I think they were 2-1 down or 1-0 where he went
Yeah.
alone. I've seen him even against Fulham. I've seen him make some runs that very good, even
Yeah.
against Fulham, against Brentford. From the halfway line, he sprints. He's he knows how to short distance. When it comes to short distance, he can sprint very, very fast. But the decision making is always lacking. But I don't blame him because I feel that's a lot of ground to carry. And that tells me that he doesn't have confidence in his teammates. Whenever a player plays like that, that tells me that he starts feeling like he has to do this, he has to do that.
Yeah.
It is But it's
And
gonna be
and
very miserable for Amorim if he gets the sack. It's gonna be because this is why it's going to be very bad for him. And I repeat it: if there's any coach that doesn't need that sack, it's Amorim. This is why he was interviewed by West Ham. He wasn't given the job. He was interviewed by Liverpool. He wasn't given the job. Manchester United comes along and gives him that job, and he doesn't deliver, and he wants to play three-man defense. So it's going to be very, very, because now whoever is offering him a job is someone who's struggling, someone who sacked their manager, who's on relegation. And the way I see him, I don't think he's someone who can save you. He's someone that needs to come and create his whatever. He is having the same feeling I'm having against. And I wanted to tell you, I've updated my relegation teams. I've taken West Ham off because of Nuno. I don't see
Yeah,
they're going down.
that's
But
that's
I'm
that's
thinking Nottingham Forest can go down. I feel because this is what I when you look at when you look at I remember I asked you that question. I asked you that question. I said, why did they get what's his name?
Ange Postecoglou.
Ange Postecoglou. It didn't make sense to me because you have a manager. To me, they belong to the likes of Marco Silva, Thomas Frank, Nuno. These are managers that are settled, that they don't go too far, but you know what they are doing. They went for Ange. You told me Europa League. He wins titles, and I remember you told me that, and I say you are right because you won the Europa League, you won at Celtics. So now Nottingham Forest wants to go the second, wants to further, because if you look at having Edu and creating all those director of football and all those whatever, they want to go the second step or go further. But the problem is defensively with Anges is off.
But that's the whole Ange experience. Well, just back on Amorim, because I think, like you said, like if sacking him could be bad for him. But I think to an extent, I think sacking him could be the best thing that could happen to him, at this moment, because it seems he doesn't want to be there. Because if you
No, he
look at
doesn't want to be there. He
if
doesn't
you
want to be
look
there.
at his expressions on the sideline, his body language, his overall, he looks very anxious. Like, again, I'm not a body language expert, but you can tell by just looking at someone who's not comfortable where they're sitting. He doesn't look comfortable in that seat in the dugout as Manchester United manager. If you see him, his head is always either crouched down, he's not looking at the
Yeah,
game
yeah,
that's in
yeah.
front of him, or he's either squatting on the sidelines, looking down again. So even as a team, when you're going through a bad spell, because most teams go through bad spells, and you look at the touchline, you see your manager portraying that type of stance, what kind of message does that send to the team? It just there's a disconnect there. And again, like I don't want to. I know some players need to take more responsibility, like Bruno Fernandes. Like I think like the whole Bruno Fernandes is, oh, he's the best player at United. Where will United be without him? They'll be exactly where they are right now, with him or without him. He's
Yeah. They should have sold
like
him in the summer.
like that
They should
100 million
have.
that came, the 100 million that came in, they should have taken it and just moved on. But again, like now you've missed two penalties away from home in the Premier League at key stages in the games. The one at Fulham was to make it to score the first goal of the game, and
Yeah.
this weekend was to bring the game to 2-2. That's how that's goals change games.
Yeah, goals
Goals
change
change
them.
goals
I
change the
bet you if he
momentum of the
scored
game.
those two goals, those games would have been changed.
Exactly, and again, like you see him, like he's doing this. He's always trying to coach on the pitch. Like he's always giving instructions to players and all that, talking to the refs. Like he's always focused on doing all those other stuff, but playing the actual game as a midfielder. But having said that about him, Bruno Fernandes is also a creative force in the Premier League. If you put him in the right positions, around the right areas on the pitch, he will create and score goals. Just because he takes a lot of shots. So that's by on average he will get one that goes in. But he has a lot of quality as well. Well, if you look, I looked at the average position of United in the first half, and Bruno Fernandes was just on top of Maguire in the average position, playing as one of the double sixes. That's not the best. That's not the.
And why does he not start Euro? What do you think? What's the tactical?
Again, it doesn't make sense because you see, if you see that Brentford lineup, it has a lot of pace in it. Kevin Shade, Ouattara, and Thiago, they're all quite
I'm
pacey.
Damsgaard, yeah.
But to go with Maguire, Delete, and Mazraoui, it's no.
What
Sorry,
does
Maguire,
Maguire
Delete,
bring that Euro doesn't bring? I want to understand what was it? Is it area? Is he thinking of area?
which I can understand that because Brentford, they play that way. They play with the set pieces. They play with the throw-ins. I understand it, but you have to rely on you have to focus on your game principles. So if you're playing a highlight, you need fast defenders. Or at least you need at least one fast defender at that back line. Sure, he's not fast. He can barely run. Maguire has never been fast. Delete is okay, but he's not fast either. the fastest defender you have on your team is Lenny Euro. So you put him there. And I think he's almost failing. He's failing the senior players in the team. Brian Bremer was playing at wing back yesterday, towards the latter stages of the game. He brought on Mason Mount and played Mason Mount at left wing back and Brian Bremer at right wing back. Like how you're chasing the game? Why are you still worrying
But
about moving defenders around?
as I get older, I start thinking so many things, and one of them is it that these managers and these executives benefit, make money off, or whatever, or get some gain? It might not be financial, it might be career, trading players or signing players, or is it that they are not as good as they seem? This is why. There are some signings that even a layman looks at it and it's clear this is wrong.
Okay,
They
yeah,
have
one of those
Mason
players.
Mount, they have Ahmad. Mason Mount was a number 10 at Chelsea or whatever you want to call it. He couldn't play deep, he could play up front. They have Ahmad, who the coach that coached him at Sunderland says he's a number 10. They went and
Yeah,
signed Cunha, and they went and signed Mbuemo. And they also have Fernandez.
yeah. And
And
Zexi.
Dallo,
Zexi, don't forget.
Zex, oh, Zex, Zexi.
Don't
They have
forget,
so,
don't forget
I
him.
remember when Zexi said he's a 9.5. You remember when he said that? Now,
Yeah,
he has Casemiro. He has Casemiro. He has Ericsson is retired, not retired, has gone to
he's,
Wolfsburg.
he's moved
He has moved to Wolfsburg. Who's the other? Ogate, Meno. And Meno doesn't play style of football. Ogate just gets the ball. He doesn't want to have the ball. Immediately he recovers it. So the point I'm trying to say, he needed two energetic central midfielders in that team before buying those forward players.
Yeah.
For them, forget about Baleba. There are so many players. For them not to think that they could. Okay, let me give you an example. Look at Brentford. Jensen and Yenet are on the bench. The coach opts to use Yomoshuk and
Yomolo,
Henderson. Homoluk, okay, Homoluk and Henderson. Now, but you see how Yenet, I didn't even know Yenet was that. Yenet was the one that scored that goal yesterday. Was he
That's Jensen.
Jensen? Okay, Jensen. Sorry, Jensen. Jensen was it. So now they have. So then they had Noga that has gone to Arsenal. So in essence, he needed energy in the center of the field. Like it's a player like Hylen Timber, for example, but he's a right back. But I'm just giving you an example of
Yeah.
energetic midfielders, and they didn't get none of that.
It's because it's like if like I always say like if you're part of any football team at any level, if you want good players, like at this we're talking about Manchester United, take £100 million, go to France, you will come back with what you need. They are all there. The
Yeah,
midfielders,
yeah, so
the
many of
ball
them.
winning midfielders, the ball playing midfielders, the creative midfielders are all there. Go to
That's
France
every
and
night,
concentrate.
every Sunday night. I have to for 2 hours. I watch their highlights. That's what I do every night. The League One, the French league.
There's so much talent. Not even just League One, even all the way down to League Two. They are talented players. They just need to open your eyes and do the work and find those players and platform them. But again, with Amorim, it's just I think it's only a matter of time. Like there's no way to sugarcoat it. Like it's only a matter of time before he gets sacked. Like the results, the sample size. This is over 35 Premier League games now. It's Manchester United head coach, and the results are not there. There's no discerning style of play. There's no player development over time. Like even the good players or the perceived good players in that team are starting to look not so good. Dallo hasn't had the best of starts this season. We talked about Brian Wemo, Cunha, Sesko. Again, like when you have all these players, some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But I still think that squad is not a 15th or 14th place squad in the Premier League.
No,
There's
it's
no way.
not.
And even like little things like the decision making. Okay, you've moved Onana on. How and you brought in this young goalkeeper in, and why is the goalkeeper still on the bench?
Yeah, yeah,
How
yeah,
is
yeah.
Onana's backup from last season
The one
the
starting.
starting number one? It like those calls don't make sense. So like like again, like you said, you don't know how football clubs are run at the top level. But again, I have the suspicion that most of them are run the same way most corporate entities are operate. I think sometimes there's vast incompetencies at the top level. That's the only way to explain a lot of this things.
But you don't need
And we'll talk.
to go to a coaching to have a coaching degree or coaching certification. If you just watch the game, you realize that means maybe the person's interest is not just football, or they don't just understand football. It's just what I would say.
It's also like you see, because I think a few months ago when they sacked, or if you believe the reports, after they sacked Dan Ashworth as sporting director at the football club, one of the reasons why they let him go was because he was not aligned with the decision to bring in Ruben
I'm
Amorim.
on it. Yeah.
Because he felt for it would need a lot of the squad would need a lot of cosmetic work, signing players, moving players on, and it didn't make the right sense at that point in time. But there were also some people also said he was pushing for the Southgates or the Graham Potters. I don't quite believe that because I don't think Southgate has not managed in the Premier League
Club football, yeah.
since, since the George Bush era, George Bush administration. So I don't think that makes sense. If you when you push a guy that has that voice in the boardroom, you push him out, and you go and then make that big call, and it's gone the way it's gone, someone has to hold responsibility for that. Because now, if Amorim goes, it's not just on Amorim, but it's the whole process.
Yeah, whoever recommended him.
What was
Yeah.
the process that led you to this coach? What was the process that led you to trust in his philosophy? Because again, Amorim is a very charming guy. I can imagine him selling the idea of his vision to them in the boardroom. But it's then on you to do the homework. Okay, see, like even like Liverpool, like one of the first red flags Liverpool had was the system, like this his perceived formation. For us to get this, we need to sign at least minimum of 4 players
Hmm.
to get his vision going on the pitch. So that puts you in a very weird, because a lot of clubs they seek continuity from manager to manager
Mhm.
because it's not only cheaper that way, but it helps you align your overall club vision. Like you won't see Barcelona hiring a manager that plays three at the back. It will
Yeah.
never happen.
Yeah.
You won't see or Real Madrid, even like Alonso has gone to Real Madrid. He's tried it here and there, but he's moving from that exact formation. So it is what it is. But again, with United, I think it's just a matter of time. They have to make that call. And the question then becomes, who do you think gets fired first, Amorim or Maresca?
I think Amorim. The reason why I think Amorim is one way or the other, Maresca will get some results and everybody will relax again. And like, let's talk about Chelsea now. You've always tried to make it known to me that the problem isn't with Maresca. But sometimes I tell people something and I feel perception is not everything, but perception should never be underrated, right? Whatever you're doing, there's so many people who went to college and don't have a job. That doesn't mean that we don't know if they had gone to college whether they would have had a job. But I'm just telling you, they don't have a job and it's not because of any fault of theirs, but they've been unemployed for a long time. But if they had dropped out from school, it would have people would have made it look like it's because they didn't graduate from college. That's why they're unemployed. In essence, sometimes it serves to do what everybody is doing in order not to be ridiculed. I'm not. So it's easy to say you have to sound different. Is very very easy. Now, one of the problems that Maresca has, or the perception people have against Maresca, is a possession football in Chelsea. If you ask me
Okay,
personally,
okay. But just to interject, you said one of the I think I think the biggest problem Maresca has is his origin as a football coach, and that is a manager that came from Leicester in the Championship. Doesn't have a CV that speaks or places him at the top shelf of football management or on the same level at Chelsea. Because this is a guy that his longest serving job up until Chelsea was as head coach of a championship team
yeah,
in Leicester City.
he was sacked by
And was
Parma.
and yeah, exactly. And before that, he was Pep's assistant at Man City for a year or two.
Mhm.
That is the CV at that level. And I think over time, a lot of Chelsea fans have not been able to separate the CV and the current job being done right now. So I think so even no matter how you see or you deem the football, the success, the wins, the losses, you can't get out of here that this is a mid-table manager or this is a what's the word people say? This is an inexperienced coach, as people will say. That is the tag that's been labeled up against him. Go on. Like you talk about his
So
progression.
okay, yeah, he's a mid-table team. So like, I'll give you an example of what I'm trying to say. Like, I have a cousin, right? He detests Maresca from, you know him very well. He doesn't
Yeah,
like
I know him.
Maresca.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I know
just
him.
doesn't like Maresca. And I see through him. I see through him
And that was
because I was
and that
once
was
like that.
before and that was before a ball was even kicked
Yeah, that
in
was before a
Maresca's.
ball was even kicked, right? Yeah, that was before a ball. And I see through him. One reason why I understand why he feels that way is a long time ago, even till now, if I'm the one to decide, let's assume we are voting and they need one last vote to decide, I will never vote for Chelsea to have a Pep Guardiola. Call it pride, call it anything. Because, right, from when most people started watching Chelsea, I mean, most well, my cousin started watching Chelsea from Ruud Gullit. He started loving
Yeah, yeah.
Chelsea from. He's a Gullit fan. He had this thing. I started from Ranieri, the Tinker Man, right? But from Ranieri, he has never been about possession. We've been founded on being defensively solid
No, okay, okay.
under
Again,
Roman.
I will interject because Roman was not built on. It wasn't built on any overarching philosophical ideas. Like even like you see Barcelona. Barcelona have the Barcelona coach has to play in a certain way. Chelsea are like, or the Roman Abramoviches were like the Galacticos, so to say, where the end goal is just winning.
Yes.
Abramovich never cared about how it got done. Chelsea fans never cared about how. Because again, we're talking about Chelsea fans. Chelsea almost 20 years ago, 20 years removed. I know, like we've aged a lot, but like the new Chelsea fans, they only know. And your cousin knows Ruud Gullit. You know
Yeah.
Ranieri. My introduction was probably is of Ranieri as well. But a lot of people just know the Mourinho, the Ancelottis,
Yeah.
the Contes, and the Champions League, the Meteor, and even Tuchel. Some of them probably will identify more to Thomas Tuchel than Jose Mourinho
Yeah.
because that's what they know. And the bottom line when it comes to Chelsea is just possession, direct football, defensive is just the bottom line is winning. That's the only currency Chelsea deal with winning. Because some clubs will win, but they have to win in a certain style. Winning is not just enough for the like the Manchester United way, the Barca way, the Cruyff era.
Chelsea was all about winning.
It's
Yeah.
all about winning. So any
And I feel
coach
that's
that
why
comes
it's been easy for some managers, unlike Tottenham or West Ham, that even when you win, they tell you the Tottenham way, the West Ham way.
yeah,
They don't, yeah, yeah.
exactly like you won't see there's nobody that will tell you, oh, the Chelsea way. The Chelsea way is winning. Like that's the only if you win at Chelsea, you're good. Like if you stop winning, even the great Jose Mourinho, when he because again, let's not forget, he got fired twice as Chelsea head coach. When he got fired was when the results were not as good as they were before. And obviously there were some interpersonal relationships between him and the owners and the directors then, and they had to move on twice from him because he was not winning. Conte, the same thing, not winning. Even I think in Abramovich's long time as Chelsea coach, the only time he sent out a public message to a coach that was fired was once, and that's when he fired Frank Lampard. That's like this is like Lampard is Mr. Chelsea. A lot of people say John Terry. I think Lampard
Yeah.
is Mr. Chelsea. Even him, after having quite a successful first season, finishing fourth, he got fired because he wasn't winning. And you move on, you go from Tuchel. So this idea of any philosophy, I say all this to say, it's not about the idea of the coach.
And I bet you, Lampard can manage Chelsea 6 times in his career.
Well, no,
If the club
he
just
could.
calls, even if he's so
I don't want it to.
he's so Mr.
No,
Chelsea that way. Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
You're
want it to
right.
happen because again, I think Lampard has found his groove. He's doing well at Coventry, they're top of the table in the Championship. Sorry, they're doing amazing. He's doing amazing over there. But again, it comes back to Chelsea's. Okay, Chelsea fans is winning. It's let's not kid ourselves. Is winning, and when the team is not winning, or when the team doesn't look like they can win, that's when alarm
But
bells
you
start going
watch
off.
our game against PSG. It wasn't
Yeah,
really about passing the ball. It was about being defensively solid, catching them on the counter, and
yeah,
doing the damage. And
yeah.
Palmer was so decisive in that game. Why can't we play like that?
Because you're not playing against a team that will allow you play to your best. Like you see PSG, like okay, Chelsea are playing
Did you see goes
Brentford.
to almost 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and he goes behind to give a back pass against? Did you see that? Because the players
Yeah,
have been
so
conditioned to
no,
always
no,
pass. Yeah,
no, no. Again, like again, I have my issues with Costa when it comes to his his end product when it goes for. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But again, like I don't like this whole. I think okay. I think in broad terms, there's this idea in football discussion right now that the Pep, for example, because again, Maresca is a disciple of Pep, or he's schooled under Pep, so they say he's a disciple or whatever. The whole Pep has ruined football type of discussion where Pep controls players. Again, Pep will tell you from his mouth, I set you to get, I can only set you up to get into the final third. When you get there, it's on you. I can't coach that. I can't coach. That's why you see, like, he needs top quality players because top quality players execute at a greater level because it's not the coach. Pep can't tell Messi what to do when Messi has the ball on a counter attack. Messi knows what to do. Pep can tell what's his name? Pedro, the Barca guy. What's his name?
Pedro.
I'm confused. Yeah, Pedro. I can't
Yes,
remember his name.
Pedro.
Pedro. Pep can tell Pedro how to move in around the box. He can set, okay, you stay wide. When he's there, you go in there. But his instincts that Pedro has that makes him get into those positions and scores all those goals. So end of the day, I always feel it's whatever style of football you're trying to play, possession and all that. What comes first should be the player quality. Like we talked about United and all that. You still need quality players to execute. The Premier League is so competitive, it's so tough, it's so like you see a lot of teams now. It's a lot of teams have corner kicks are no longer like a lot of
They
teams are not
said
just concentrating on
uh they
corner
said
kicks.
as of Chelsea Brighton, which was it the first game on Saturday? I think it was the
No, I
second
think
game on Saturday.
there was the midweek.
Before Chelsea Brighton, they said 100 and I think 106 long balls that normally you see throw-ins that normally all going to the opposition box. This season, they said it was like I think 160 balls, regular throw-ins, have been attempted to go to the opponent's 18-yard box, and that was
But
the
what is
highest since 1990, since for the last
like
6 years.
you see it's no longer a tactic that teams like Bournemouth or the Brentford use. Arsenal there was a moment today in the Arsenal Newcastle game when Calafiori went to get a towel to dry off the ball for a long throw and the ref told him like no, that's not allowed. You can't use the towel, you can do whatever you're doing. So a lot of teams are focusing on set pieces. Like you see the goals Arsenal scored today were two headers, two crosses into the box. Two of the goals Chelsea considered on Saturday were two crosses into the box. So it's, I think, like at the end of the day, you can play however you want to play. Say, like us, like your cousin that we speak of, he's a big fan of Iraola now. I
Yeah,
think Iraola
yeah.
is is a new disciple. But I will ask, okay, if Iraola comes to Chelsea and he's playing against Brentford, Brentford will sit in a 5 formation or 5-4-1 lineup. Brentford, they don't come to play football with you. They're set up that way. What percent of possession do you think Chelsea, coached by Iraola, will try to? The percentage number will still be high. But at the same time, all the teams that are dominating European football, both domestically and international level, the Barcelonas, the Bayern Munichs, the PSGs, the Spanish national teams, all based on possession. But within that ideology of possession football, you can still be very. There are different interpretations of it. Like Flick's Barcelona don't play like Pep's Barcelona,
No, no,
but
no.
they still have the same principles. They still have the same core tenants as a team. But you have different players, so you play differently. You have Rafinha rather than Messi and Pedro, so you play
But
more.
it seems Pep is transitioning to play more direct football than playing possession football,
And but
going by the
and that's
composition of his staff and
that's true because again, I think with Pep, I think Pep has lost inspiration in the game. My opinion, I think he's looking for, and this is we can put it to different like because again, you when you win four Premier League titles in a row, you win a Champions League, a Premier English treble. I think the only second English treble ever, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, yeah, second, yeah, after
Yeah,
Manchester United.
like it's like you'll get to a point where you get so high, the team it's only down from there, and I think City have got to that point. But I also think with them, it's the players they have at City right now compared to the past few years or the past when City were at their best. That City that got 100 Premier League points with Gabriel Jesus, De Bruyne, and Sané, all that. This team can't compare to that team. So it's not like Pep is trying to change. He's trying to team to what he has right now because he doesn't have a Fernandinho. He doesn't have a De Bruyne no more. And like you say, okay, like Pep is adapting, but City have not been good in the
No, it's not been good either.
last year. So whatever he's trying to achieve, even if he's trying to go away from his core style, it's not been successful. Like City, they don't. So again, like I think I say all this to say it comes down to one. It comes down to one thing, and there's one. I think one of the great football minds right now, Ralph Ranick, when it comes to structuring a football club or structuring any football structure. He said, like directors, sporting directors, you are responsible for the football. It's not the coach. It's not the players. Because if you can't get your recruitment right, you have no legs to stand on.
So if you Chelsea's problem or Chelsea problem is mostly because of recruitment from the sporting directors.
I feel a lot of I feel okay. There've been some bad mistakes in the last 2 weeks in across all competitions, the Premier League, Champions League. The goals we gave away at Bayern Munich were bad goals. The goals we gave away at Brentford, like the second goal we considered against United last weekend, that's probably one of the worst Chelsea goals I've ever seen us concede. Because that ball was in the air for over at least 10 seconds. Again, I'm over exaggerating, but it was in the air for a long time. And what happens then if the ball's in your box for that long? Either two things happens: the goalkeeper comes off his line, tries to punch or tries to claim it, then he stops that, or one of the centre backs puts their head on it. They clear that, but that ball was there. Shaw, Luke Shaw of all people, like you allow Luke Shaw win a header in your box and leads to a goal. Like that is a problem because again, like Maresca, like the situation his coaching could be better because again, the last two Premier League games we've been down to 10 men. Like you can't escape that fact. And again, as much as you want the coach to be more courageous, to show a bit more adventure, show a bit more bravery in that situation where okay, you still are down to 10 but we're still going to attack, we're still trying to play football. But it's I can't judge a team's performance when they're down to 10 men. I know it's not impossible to get a win or to get
But
a
we've
draw with
won
10 men.
several times when we were 10 men down under Jose.
Yeah, but well, Jose had a Peter Cech, John Terry, and Carvalho at the back. We have Sanchez, Chaluba, and Tosin. That's where the difference is. It's not down. Like even like one of Chelsea's best performance as a club was in the semi-final against Barcelona. I think John Terry got sent off early in the first half, but we still put in a very fantastic defensive performance. Even without some of our first choice defenders. But even like then, you still had Ashikola left back. You had Petr Cech, who's one of the greatest goalkeepers we've seen in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You still even have a guy like Posingwa. He's not the best, but Posingwa is still an okay player. You have Ramirez, Mikel, and Lampard in front of that defense. That is different from compared to an Enzo Fernandez or Gusto
After
or Andre Santos.
after maybe Carlos and Maldini, I can tell you from maybe 94 from 96, Ashley Cole might be the best left back ever. That's not talking about the likes of Baresi, those Italian, those AC, but that I rate him so highly, like that I feel that, with the exception
He's
of Carlos and Maldini, I think
yes.
he's. I get what you're trying to say. We check with these are, if there's Hall of Fame.
Because again, like you can say, because what made that Chelsea team great, I know it's. I think there was one of the best windows the Premier League will probably ever see was that window, Mourinho's first season at the club, where you bring in Arjen Robben, you bring in Petr Cech, you bring in two Champions League winners from his Porto team, Carvalho and Paulo Ferreira. You bring in Didier Drogba to add to already Joe Cole, Damian Duff, Good Johnson, those kind of players and John Terry, Lampard, not even just players, but those kind of figures. They were not just very good players, but they were leaders on the pitch. And when Mourinho left, sometimes like a lot of players then will tell you like when Di Matteo came in, he didn't do anything significantly different as a coach. It's just the team spirit was there, the know-how was there. They were battle ready. That team was battle ready. That team had won a lot of things at that point in time. So again, it comes down to the situation where we have right now is, I'll ask you this question now. Okay. Do you think Sanchez, Fofana and Chaluba axis in defense where would you put that in the Premier League? Like, we know Arsenal have Saliba, Gabriel, Raya, Alisson, Konate, Virgil, Dan Burn, Pope, Like you've seen all these teams. Like where would you put, hypothetically speaking, like if you want to rank them, even with teams like even like you're talking with Romero, Van der Ven, and Vicario, where would you rank Chelsea's situation?
Centre backs
Centre back and goalkeeper. Like where
surviving
would you put them?
relegation.
Because again, like
They
if
won't
like
go down, but they'll
it's
be.
tough,
I'm talking about 14th, 15th, because
right?
the Fofana right now is because so many teams have better centre backs. Yeah, so with all these names, the only player that I feel is Chelsea. Will I say material or I'll keep is Chaluba, but I'm not keeping
But
Tosin.
I know,
But
I
he's
know,
not starting though. He's not starting, but
Chaluba is because okay to take last let's because again it's he's an academic kid. He has that PSR profit on his head. So even if you've deemed him not good enough, but Chaluba was exiled from the Chelsea first team. He didn't go on preseason. He was to be sold. They couldn't sell him. They sent him out on loan to Crystal Palace. Just they packed him at Crystal Palace. So he had a wonderful first half of the season. Chelsea have injury crisis for Fofana, which at this point is no surprise to any Chelsea fan. We know what Fofana is. His injuries are. We know what that situation is. Him and Lavia. If Fofana gets that injury, we try different combinations. Okay, it's not good enough. January window opens up. They're not keen on spending real money on any other player. They bring back Chaluba. And to Chaluba's credit, I think he came back with the right mentality. Because again, also a lot of players could just like a lot of players could not really
yeah.
like they could come with the wrong attitude. But again, one thing I love about Chaluba is a player that seems to maximize every single avenue to get to this level. Like this is a guy that at no way through his career looked like a Chelsea player. So that
I
was
watched
nothing
his
wrong.
interview where he said his brother was more talented than he was. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
his brother was highly rated. Like again, this is even with that Cobham lot.
Who?
Like
What was
he
his
was
brother? Nat. Is it Nathan?
Nathaniel Chaluba. Like Nathaniel Chaluba was even at Chelsea was rated with
He was highly
alongside
rated because
Loftus
I
Cheek.
remember under Conte it was him and Loftus Cheek. Those were the two common.
Like even like Chaluba is a Premier League winner with Chelsea. But even like I know was a big part role, but he's still a Premier League winner. Trevor was never really a highly rated player from the academy. And I think with him, he had a wonderful preseason a few years ago with Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel stuck with him, and he's grown from strength to strength. But again, he's not a top centre back. He's a good player because again, I don't think he naturally started off as a centre back. On a lot of his loans in France and the Championship, he played in midfield. So again, this is not a top centre back. So you fast forward to this season where we know Cole had his injury before the season started. Transfer window was still open. The coach comes out. He basically says, we need to sign a centre back. He said it's not exactly, but that's the gist of what I was trying to say. The club didn't listen. They didn't make the fact that I understand trying to make a move for a player, not getting what you want. But the fact that the club wasn't even considered. Like, well, this is what you have, it's good enough. You go out there and make it work. Okay, fine. But you're now stuck with Chaloba, a guy you didn't want the season before. Tosin, I like Tosin. I respect Tosin. But Tosin is not a top centre back either. If Liverpool are bringing like Arsenal today, Arsenal started with Salib with Gabriel and Mosquera. And we at Newcastle. Like you know how tough Newcastle is. At halftime they bring on Saliba from the bench. Like that's the level we're talking about. Like the squad, like you have three good centre backs. Like Mosquera is looking like the signing of the season or the find of this season. He's been wonderful so far. That's also adds to guys like Ben White, Sola,
Hinkampi. Hinkampi.
Fury. Like Arsenal have defenders where we have wingers. We have so many wingers at the club that even Garnacho and Gittins can't even get games. So it's like again, I think fundamentally football comes to the recruitment first. If you can't get your recruitment right, if see Sunderland for example, Sunderland they spent for new promoted team, they spent a lot of money. They showed ambition. They showed they were willing for the fight. But again, one of the best transfer business this window is Granit Xhaka.
I've never, with the exception of no, even Nottingham Forest, I've never ever. But the sample size is a little because I started watching active football. That was after 2002 Korea Japan. But since Korea Japan 2002, that same season West Ham went down was the season I started watching. But I've never seen a relegated and a promoted side go this way Sunderland went with their signings. Yes, Forest signed a lot, but Forest were signing players that I didn't really know about from Brazil. The way Sunderland went, getting Adingra,
Yeah, like again,
they went at it
again,
so well. The recruitment was top.
like, I don't know how, I don't know what led to Shaka leaving Bayern Leverkusen, but he decided to leave. And I think it's fair to say Granit Xhaka could, I think he can start for a lot of Premier League teams,
Yeah,
a lot of Premier League teams right now. But you get him at the Sunderland, they convince him to come. They make him club captain. Like I think that was a unanimous decision to make him club captain. And you can see like so far this is it's not only like you can not even just the intangibles, the leadership is providing, but again, it's creating goals for that team. And you see the other guy, the centre back that scored that match winner of this weekend. You sent me the quote of the Getafe president saying, "I wish we could have kept him, Adarete. I wish we could have kept him, but we
yeah.
couldn't because of the financial situation." And you see those two players who've gone to even plus the goalkeeper, the Dutch guy they signed from I don't know
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah. And when they were signing him, they say he was going to be number one. From the first day they went for him.
Like, so again, like you see you see that spine already in a newly promoted team. Okay, they recruited a very good defender, a good goalkeeper. They brought in Granit Xhaka. Like when you say like he's in that mold of Henderson. Henderson is almost having that same impact with Brentford, where they're not doing too much ball. They're finding a way to contribute on the pitch and also lead that team. Like and that's at this level, it makes so much difference. And it's not a matter of just spending because again, if you're spending, if you have money to spend, you have to get it right. But if you don't have, or you're trying to go a different way, I can understand it. But you can't have spent more than something close to £2 billion on transfers, and the centre backs you have already, you can rely on Tosin free transfer. No, Levi Colwill, a club, youth academy product. Trevor Chalobah, an academy player. Like those three guys, those are our three from last season. Those are our three senior centre backs. Fofana is Fofana. Fofana gets injured. I think Fofana at this point, I can't rely on him. Like like your core defenders in your team, academy, guys from the academy, and the free transfer from Fulham. Is after spent because there was a piece after spending over £2 billion. And as much as I want to disagree with Karakowski, I think Karakowski is trying to center himself as an Chelsea antagonist in the media space. The same way Gary Neville has that Arsenal situation where Neville is always trying to
Yeah.
rage bait the Arsenal fan base. But I I think in the last few weeks he's made good points, but I can't agree with him because I feel his criticisms about the club is not coming from the good place. I think he's more.
To poke the club. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
you.
exactly. He's like he doesn't want Chelsea. There's no way Carragher wants Chelsea to do well. So when he says all those things, I think it's just like you see what's happening. It's an easy target and go for it. But again, that does not make him wrong.
And they
Because
don't- they don't get a goalkeeper. I was watching Roma. The goalkeeper in Roma, it's not really a bad goalkeeper. And I don't even know when they signed him.
like again, like we have this Chelsea group chat. Like when we're going after Magic Mike, he's a good goalkeeper. But I think he's a goalkeeper I think he's on the down curve. Like if you want to get Magic Mike, prime Magic Mike, you get him 2-3 years ago, not right now. I think like Miles Fila, the guy at Roma, like he had a wonderful season last year before he signed a new contract. This Roma have some financial situation. I think you could have you can get him. You could have gotten the guy, and they get like Roma over the last decade or so. They've had a good history with goalkeepers. Chesney, Allison, they all
Yeah.
come from that tree. So again, like you can at least you make an approach to improve the team because again, it comes down to improving what you already have. And it's not about signing 6 players. Sometimes you can sign 2 players and have 2 players can have a massive impact on your team. Like a Diego Costa and Fabregas in Mourinho's second tenure at Chelsea. You sign those 2 players, boom, takes Chelsea to the next level. Like it's not like because again I know Maresca will get a lot of flack because he's the head coach. People have their opinions about him, which again I'm not this. You can talk about the football that's been played on the pitch and the end product, but I ask you this question: like how many managers out there right now? If you bring say Hans de Flick is the top manager right now, that's playing the best football. His team looks amazing. Or Luis Enrique. If you get those two managers in somehow at Chelsea, the first thing Enrique will do, or Hansi Flick will do, is I want a new goalkeeper.
No, in as much as I'm a Maresca critic, but at the same time, for the first time in a very long while, not that I'm scared of speaking out, but I'm being careful of speaking out because I feel that the recruitment is more problem than Maresca. Because the game being played is to shift it on Maresca and then they bring somebody else and they continue doing
Exactly.
what they're doing. So,
Exactly.
right, if I get a better recruiter or whatever, executive, he can now kick out Maresca. But because there's no goalkeeper. And I remember and the problem I also have with Maresca is I don't want him to be like Conte to keep complaining. But I want him to be a little bit more vocal because it's looking like when Cole got injured, Maresca said we need to sign a left. He said we need to sign a play. I remember that.
I
The
don't know
next
if
3 days, he was like, "We are good enough." I'm like,
no,
"How did you?"
no, but like that, I think you can easily guess that they had conversations behind the scenes. But I think if you looked at his press conference before the week leading up to United game, like I think if you read between the lines, he's saying it like he's saying it out loud, but you just need to decipher it a little bit. Like he said, see, if you see Liverpool, that level, Saliba, Van Dijk, Konate, Arsenal the same, Gabriel, Saliba, Raya. That is the level. At this moment, we don't have that. But we are building, but we don't have that. But why don't we have that? Why don't we have guys on that level? Why don't we have a Gary Cahill? Like Gary Cahill was not my favorite Chelsea player, but you know how Gary Cahill would
Yeah,
change
yeah,
Chelsea's life.
it changed us. It changed us. It was
Gary
awful.
Cahill would
It was
change our
changed.
fortunes. If you give me see,
No, it
honestly,
was
see
after Terry Gary King was my favorite Chelsea. He changed us.
if you
Jesus
put
Christ.
if you
I
put a
think he
Gary
scored on
Cahill,
his debut himself. I think
yeah,
he
if you put
scored against
if,
Villa.
if you
No,
put
yeah, yeah.
yeah, if you put a Gary Cahill, Robert Hoots, and Codicini in this Chelsea team right now, it will change
Yes,
our
it
lives.
changed.
And again, and I feel because I think Maresca is going to get sacked. The only thing that can save him is if the team goes on the run. Say they win the next two games, the Champions League and the Liverpool game, then international break. But if those results don't go his way, the writing's already on the wall. They're already when like before a manager gets sacked, you can see
Yeah, yeah.
you can see the shift in opinion, not even just on social media, but the reports are coming. Like you said, the vote of confidence comes out. Oh, the club still believes in him. All those like once that comes
Yeah,
out,
they went to the dressing room. I saw
yeah,
that.
it's like once all those chatter starts coming out, it's only a matter of time. Results can save him, but again, if Maresca, for me, I'll say plainly, if Maresca is getting sacked, I want everybody in that recruitment department to go as well. Because again, let's not get it wrong. Let's get it right. This is their fourth. Well, if they sack Maresca, the coach that they'll bring in will be their fourth hire as directors at Chelsea. That was after.
But that's a high turnover.
No, but again, but that's after letting go of Thomas Tuchel to bring in Graham Potter. We saw how that went. Okay, Potter goes, you let Potter go. You bring in Frank Lampard on an interim. That was even worse than the Graham Potter
Pochettino.
situation. Then you bring in Pochettino. It was whatever. I don't know, but end of the day you sacked him after the season. You bring in Maresca, and you seemingly want to get rid of him or put all the blame in his basket and get him
But
out.
in hindsight, don't you think Pochettino might have also requested that they
No,
sign
yeah,
some? He might have requested that I don't need these
okay.
youngsters. Like I
No,
need.
no, 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 okay, but I also think with Pochettino, I think the kind of players Pochettino wanted were like the Ugarte type of players. I don't think because and again like because again even Pochettino found a way to get results in the Premier League towards the back end of the season. But I feel at that point for me I think it was it's what because again let's get the full pictures. We were out of no European commitment, so we had a lot of or he had a lot of time on the training ground to implement ideas. But I just feel from week to week there was no consistency with performances. And I feel particularly with the better players in the team were struggling. The Thiago Silva,
Yeah.
Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez were I think only Palmer, even Kukulela had a tough go at it. I think probably Palmer was the only one just doing it. Palmer, Jackson, Noni for a bit were all doing that thing. So it was very And again, I have as much as wasn't my cup of tea. I have a lot of sympathies for him because again, the Chelsea fan ecosystem where I don't like Pochettino. He's a Tottenham
Yeah,
coach.
I don't
He's a
know.
failure. He can't win. He's not a winner. So when you have all those, like, and again, I think we have to, even us as fans, we have to dispel those kind of notions. Like again, what Pochettino is trying to do right now or then doesn't have anything to do with Tottenham. So why you?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
again, a lot of Chelsea fans were really like the whole Tottenham thing about they didn't really like. They didn't really like him because of his Tottenham connection, which is fair. Which is fair, I guess. It's like the same way a lot of Everton fans never will not like Benitez because of his
Yeah, Liverpool
connection.
pass.
But again, I think because the way Maresca has been painted out to be, and again, he's not faultless. Because again, if you lose football matches, the manager cannot be faultless when it comes to football matches. Because again, it's played on the pitch. But I feel right now Maresca is like a sin eater for this club, where if you put all the sins, all the faults on him, you move him out, brand new, we start again, it's all fresh. But if the new manager walks in I don't know when, he's going to his first team sheet, guess who's going to be the number one goalkeeper?
Yeah, Sanchez. Frank, that should be that should be all for us for today.
So again, like, but for me, because I saw them again, I saw the directors with the
But Ebani.
Egbali, and I looked at the guy to me, it looked like a guy that's trying to cozy up to the. I don't know what that relationship is like, but from the
Yeah,
outside,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw the picture. It was like yeah, it's like
it looked
politicians
like a
when
guy
you have
trying to
people trying to cozy your yeah, yeah. I saw that
when you're
picture.
trying to
It
cozy
didn't
up
feel
to
natural
power.
to me.
It didn't.
It didn't. It didn't. It was like trying to cozy up and make
So
take
again,
deflection.
like if like you just have to ask questions like okay, simple questions. Okay, you spent this again. I know we've run out of time, but I'll just finish. You spent X amount. Where is this on the pitch? You spent 90 million on Garnacho and Gittins. Garnacho, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm no wait. What am I even saying? Look, I don't like Garnacho. I want him gone. He's not good. But even, like Gittins, like but even with Garnacho, he's not had a preseason. He needs a bit of time. But you spent 90 million on these two guys. You didn't reinforce the defense or the goalkeeping situation. And the last two Premier League games, these two guys can't get off the bench. Again,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
10 men and all that is a different situation. But again, they're not getting on the pitch. So it's like the priority needs to just focus on the basics. How you look at your team, you look at the players in each position. How do we improve Sanchez? Okay. How do we improve on this? It's not because now the question is getting an improvement on Madueke? I can't say that categorically at this point in time. Is because again, like the more you think about it, the more it doesn't make sense. Because you get rid of Jackson, okay, Jackson is bad, Jackson is this, but Joao Pedro has not had. Joao Pedro has had only one shot on target in the last two games.
yeah.
And that, again, this is not a Joao Pedro performance
No, it's not. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he's played well in the context of those games. But again, like there's a way you're chasing a game where okay, you're down to 10 men, you can take off the attackers, but you can leave only one striker up there, like a big strong guy. You can imagine you can leave a guy like
Matete.
exactly Mateta that again
Mateta.
You can leave that's Drogba's that's again in our group chat they were asking world class strikers. Mateta is a world class striker. That's just the way Mateta played against Liverpool this weekend. That I've only ever seen only one player, one centre forward play like that. With the team winning, he didn't score a goal, but have that kind of performance, and that's Drogba. The way he played, and this is like he's been building this type of performance against Liverpool on that back line. But the
Yeah.
way he played, like again, if you have a Mateta with 10 men, you're playing with 10 men and you have a Mateta up there, you can just kick the ball long to him. He'll bring it down. In fact, he wants it that way. Give me the ball. I'll bring it down. I'll make something from it. I can create a shot. I can just even walk. I can push you up the pitch. But when you have, you don't even have that capacity to bring a player off the bench. Who's our backup striker?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like every if because okay now the backup striker is this guy you sent out on loan to Sunderland, Mark 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 Maguire. And up until before this week, there was this Like if you play in the Carabao Cup for another club, you can't play. You can't play for two clubs in Carabao Cup competition. But up until this season, that was the rule, but it's been changed. So now he can play for Chelsea. But had that law not been changed, he can't play for Chelsea in the cup. In the cup
Yeah,
final.
he wouldn't have been able to play for
So
Chelsea.
it's like again, like it just like I see a lot of things. Like again, I understand the whole multi-club ownership situation. I understand the whole buying young. But again, you can still buy young good players that play now. Like this Milos this guy we're talking about. Even you can get good players that are young that contribute right now, improve the team. Because again, what is the goal for Chelsea this season? Because I'll tell you for free, it's not title. It's impossible.
The Chelsea of let me say something before we end it. The Chelsea of old would have tested maybe Inter with Bastoni, make a big offer.
Even there's Bastoni. Even like like when it came to the last few days of the transfer, even I'm not saying it's not like I'm not a guy like Akanji for example. Like Akanji is not. I'm not saying he's an excellent defender, but when you have the crisis we have, because again, when you lose
Yeah,
two
yeah,
players
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for the ACL injury, you have Fofana. You have to bring somebody, even just a physical body. Like Akanji is there from at Man City, trying to move out. You get Akanji on loan. Like City have no problem selling Akanji to Chelsea, or even loaning him out to Chelsea. Or even there's Benjamin Pavard at Inter Milan. He moved on to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Marcel.
Olympic Marseille. Like that guys you can just get. Because again, I think because again, I think they think about football so much on.
The future that they
No, it's
forget.
no, it's not even the. I think they think about it so much on the stat sheets. Like they only see because again, like I was reading, like they believed last season. One of the reasons why they didn't spend a lot in general was they believed that the form we had was just a matter of time to change. Like all the metrics put us finishing top
Yeah.
four. It was only a matter of time since we get right. Statistically speaking, a Champions League team last season. So they believed in the metrics. They believed in that. But again, it's on the like again on that final day of the season at Forest, the result could have gone bad because Sanchez made. I think Sanchez had a Sanchez moment, and that game could have gone beyond us. Results could have gone away from us, and we finish fifth, sixth, or seventh. God knows. And because like as because even like if Maresca is leaving, like these guys they have to go. Either they have to go, they have to realign their thought process.
That should be all for us for today. We're out of time. Join us next time. Frank, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Comments, drop your comments, like and subscribe. Thank you very much.